the Windows I think Microsoft is trying to escape, but at the same time, Clippy is kind of really enduring. Maybe they, maybe they modernized it. Maybe Clippy is, I don't know, what do hipsters use instead of paper clips? Maybe he's,
Oh, fire
maybe he's a bike U-lock now. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they made some adjustments and stuff. I kind of like it. I like the way it lets me know when it pops up. You know.
Did you ever hear about the user experience testing they did with Clippy back when they decided to just get rid of him?
Oh, no.
No.
They did and I don't remember who did this because I read it like a couple of years ago, but apparently they did some user testing to see if it would be more viable to just kill Clippy or to make him better. And basically what they figured out is that what people really want when they use Clippy is a way to vent. So what Clippy would do is he would basically do something. If the story goes correctly, he would basically do something, and then he would ask if it was helpful. And if you said no, he would pull up a little feedback box, and he's like, "Well, you should tell Microsoft about this." And like, the more you were typing, Cliffy was like egging you on. He's like, "Be mean, be honest." Basically, telling you to like take your aggressions out on Microsoft instead of his poor computer-generated paperclip self. And Microsoft understandably said hell no to using that, even though people loved it. They decided to get rid of Clippy.
Aww.
They decided to axe Clippy instead of just, which I can understand why, because if they put that on there, people would have been like, well, maybe this is like Microsoft admitting their shit sucks. When did Clippy go away? Was it Vista or XP?
It was after I had moved to Mac because Clippy was always there.
Yeah, actually, let me see. I never experienced Clippy because, unlike the rest of the planet, I started with Mac and I subsequently used Windows. Let's see. Feature was removed altogether in Office 2007 for Windows and Office 2008 for Mac. So around 2007-ish. For some reason, I was thinking Clippy was an OS wide utility because it seemed like he was. If you needed to like burn a CD, but I guess that was an Office program. I don't know. Windows is not my thing, as I've mentioned. Windows 2000. Let's see, Office 2007. Windows XP and Windows Server. So he disappeared around Windows XP because I thought for a minute I was going to say if Clippy disappeared around the Vista era, that would explain a lot of things actually. but apparently that was he disappeared relatively well before, about a year before.
My first operating system was Windows Vista, so I don't know. I liked it, and there were some things I didn't care for too much about it. I never used Mac though.
Vista is weird because it seems like that was the beginning of the end for like people hating Windows. Like there's a lot of vitriol still about Windows. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people just totally skipped over XP, skipped over Windows 7 because of Vista. They had a stigma, and then they skipped over Windows 8 because it was too different with Metro, and then Windows 10, and they skipped over Windows 9. I don't understand that. And then they're like, you know what? We're gonna do Windows 10, and people are starting to warm up to it, but like, and it's got a crap ton of downloads. I mean, Windows always has a shit ton of downloads, but it seems, but you don't hear anybody saying that like Windows is the best thing ever. I mean, I'm sure they're still out there, and obviously it's good for like playing games, using things like Autodesk stuff is still still predominantly Windows. It has a purpose. But you never hear anybody die in the Windows hill anymore when they talk about operating systems. You ever notice that?
Oh, definitely.
But then again, I don't fully die on the Mac hill anymore. So I think at this point it's personal preference because I still think iPad Pro is great, but until it runs a desktop OS and runs desktop apps, like if I need a touchpad that can replace my laptop, I'm getting a Surface Pro. That's just the way it is because it's portable and it literally does everything I need. No hating on Apple, but iOS just doesn't seem to do it for desktop level apps. The way it shares files is weird. None of the apps are good, but then again, it just came out too. So give the developers a year, and I don't know, because they're so hell bent on not crossbreeding the platforms, but I really wish they would. I don't care. I don't care if they change it. I don't care if iPad Pro becomes like MacBook Slate. I just really wish there was a touchpad MacBook somewhere in the universe.
Well, when I started using Windows Vista, I had just bought the brand
It
new.
sounds so grouchy. Sorry.
I had just bought a brand new laptop, and I mean, so the first operating system that I learned to use, and then that laptop broke down, and I went on to Windows 7, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I especially enjoyed the snap feature, and I liked it a lot.
Just a
And
little bit, Marcus.
what's that?
It's doing that like weird robotic breaking up. At least for me, Charter's been operating on the internet outside, so it could honestly be me and entirely me.
Maybe I'm just too far from the mic. I don't know. Let's see. Is that any better?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was probably too far from the mic. I just being cautious because I don't have that filter yet. So.
Oh
But,
yeah, that's a big thing.
yeah, I want to get that pop filter pretty soon. So, but yeah, the what was I? Oh, the Windows Vista. Yeah, that was my first operating system. I got Windows 7. I really liked Windows 7. I thought it was really enjoyable. Like I said, the snap feature was pretty cool. And
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
then
Because I remember that was like the one thing like I remember people really loving about it. I don't remember if that carried over to. I don't remember if that carried over to 8 or not. I want to say it did.
it carried over to 10.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they added it to the El Captain. It was such a popular feature that Mac jumped on it.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
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 Because of course they did.
Yeah. It's not,
and then they claim they invented it, right?
and then it's always been there.
Right.
Okay, so I feel a little elitist in this conversation because my parents had a 3.1 Windows computer.
Nice.
Woo! And then I remember when we upgraded the 3.11, and then we had that up until I bought my first computer, and I'm pretty sure my first computer had 95 on it.
Yeah, I remember Windows 95. And I remember using it and not really picking it up again, or picking up computers again until 2002 or 3, when it was well into Mac System 10. And after that, I remember using an iBook. Remember those? I remember using an iBook for to edit a video and burn a disk because the Windows computer I had didn't. And after that, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to stick with this Mac thing. Because that was back in the day when USB drives were kind of crazy expensive, or didn't exist at all, and it's I'm just gonna burn a DVD. Well, even though it's got a disk drive on the Windows I had, it couldn't burn anything. And this dude's like, hey, I can do that. And it's this plastic computer.
Well, you stuck with what you were most comfortable with. Everybody's going to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
We had in a 3.11 we had a screensaver. Not to go completely off subject, but it was the coolest thing ever because it was Taz, and Taz would run around the desktop eating all the icons.
I remember that was a big thing in Windows 95. I remember having a software that was like a dog that would chase your mouse and try to catch it. And it was just it was such a 90s thing too. Like if someone did that nowadays, people would be like, "What the hell is this shit? This is stupid."
Exactly.
But that was like everything. That was back in the age of when the internet was when it took 30 minutes to load an internet page and nobody thought anything about it. Like, it'll take 25 minutes, but look how fast this is.
Yeah, that was back in the age of the pixels. Come on now.
Yeah, exactly, right. back when Nintendo 64 was the most advanced video game console.
Yeah.
Just oh my god, it's just back in the dark ages. I thought I remember going. This is how much of a nerd I was because I think it was like 12 or 13, and I remember. I remember going to the Nintendo website because it wasn't even on my computer. It was like a friend's parents' computer, and I'm like, I'm gonna look at something, and I remember going to like the Nintendo website and just being like blown away. I'm like, holy crap! Look at this thing. It's like visiting Nintendo without going there. I was such a dork back in the day. And
Oh,
nowadays it's like it takes 30 seconds to load this page. What is wrong with my internet right now?
I used Comic Sans on my first Harry Potter fan site.
I use Comic Sans on everything. I taught myself this is how old I am, children. I taught myself how to code on motherfucking MySpace.
Oh, okay. See,
You remember that when you could
I
apply
do.
your own
Yep.
styling?
Yeah, I never had a MySpace, but I would do. I didn't get a MySpace up until my friend tried to hook me up. But I
Tried to
would
do what?
do. I didn't get a MySpace till my friend tried to hook me up with my now husband.
That's funny. Sounds
Yeah.
like there's a more extended story to that at some point.
So
Did you do it for other people or?
yeah, basically,
Yeah.
so he could check me out and see if I was anything special. So that was 2005.
Nice.
But I would do people would pay me to fix their MySpace layouts.
To fix their MySpace layouts.
Yeah, because you'd get these layouts and they do these crazy things like.
You'd add your 85th GIF and it wouldn't work. Or GIF, rather.
So I would fix MySpace websites, but I learned HTML and CSS because I had a GeoCity site.
Nice.
And the site builder that Yahoo gave you was too bulky for my 28K connection.
28K.
Yep, I was
Man,
half
oh,
the
man.
average.
Oh, 28K. I remember. I remember my folks had prepaid AOL because they didn't like the idea. My mom didn't like the idea of. Hang on, I got too much crap going on. My mom didn't like the idea of giving out credit card information. She still doesn't, which is probably wise nowadays in certain circles. But I remember she would buy the prepaid AOL cards when that was the thing. And I'd stretch the dial-up connection over from like my dad's plug-in and plug it in and wait for it to boot with that god-awful, the boot-up sound that no one's ever going to hear again.
Yep.
Oh, good times. It's it's amazing. It's like things that we grew up with, like answering machines. And did you know Sony finally killed Betamax?
Finally killed?
Yeah, like apparently they've still been making Betamax stuff for however many years or decades it's been in the Asian market, which doesn't surprise me because you see crazy things from there, like they're still selling like Genesis and Nintendo consoles, like original NES consoles.
Oh yeah.
And but it's crazy because apparently Betamax, like the NES, is a big thing in Asia. And it's like, holy shit. But Sony finally wisely decided, nobody else on the planet uses this, so we're not going to support it anymore. Again, really, really wise because obviously, it's a niche market and probably not too much that gets released on it anymore. It's like Lord of the Rings was the last tape to come out on VHS. And it makes me wonder what the last like Betamax tape was. Are they just now catching up to DVDs in Asia, or do they just really love Betamax? There's a story to that. I really want to know what it is.
I know that technology was that superior to VHS. Brian has a Betamax, and I know that it was superior to VHS. It was actually really, really good. So it would not surprise me that people weren't willing to go to DVD because there may be a loss in quality there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that people still buy and sell old beta.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just like what is it, HD DVD? People still, there's still a huge market of people who love those. They invested in. I remember Xbox sold an extension for it, and there's a lot of people besides companies that probably invested a fair amount of money into it. Obviously, they want to get a return on it, and they have a very passionate fan base, and that's true for every extinct medium. There was when I was in college, there was a band that intentionally went out and got an 8-track recorder and a bunch of blank 8 tracks just to do it because they got tired of seeing. I think as the story goes, they got tired of seeing cassettes and records, vinyls in record stores, and they were like, you know what, we need to represent the 8 tracks. They just manually recorded and released these 8-track albums. Can you imagine how labor intensive that is? My God. Holy crap! Speaking of old school technology, my gosh, Fallout 4 has absorbed me like an amoeba this week. Like every time when I'm not working on school, I'm playing Fallout 4. I was playing Fallout 4 before this. And but it kills me because I always think about Fallout 4. Like you see computers and they're old like Matrix terminals with the black screen with the green lettering, and I never really thought about the timeline of Fallout because they drive retro cars, they play golden oldies on the radios in the games. I always think about it as being some kind of like twisted, obscure like 1940s, 1950s. Guess what year Fallout 4 happens in?
The 80s?
No.
Really?
Fallout 4 happens in the year 2288.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, I never thought about it. Like, it never occurred to me until they explicitly mentioned it in Fallout 4. I'm like, holy shit, this is like the distant future. What are they still doing with these computers?
Well,
technology that was new and alien,
Now, I may not know very much about. Now, don't quote me on this, of course. But when my ex was telling me about Fallout, when I first found out about Fallout, he told me that it was a futuristic, but since they were stuck in the shelter, everything was stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the culture had gotten stuck in the 1950s, and anything that had happened after the 1950s was obviously eradicated when everything went to poo.
Yeah, and apparently the war happens in 2077. I guess the idea. Maybe they were going through maybe the hipsters invaded the planet and it was just a crazy nostalgia phase. Because and I know from a developer standpoint why Bethesda does it, because if you play golden oldies, they're in the public domain. Of course, you don't have to license any new band basically.
Right. Right.
But I think it's neat because I think in a lot of ways it's like the Batman animated series. Like they don't necessarily intend for you to ascribe a certain year to it, even though they know from a storytelling perspective they have to assign a year to it. But I think, but I'm always led to believe it's kind of really arbitrary. But I'm okay with that. It doesn't affect my enjoyment of the game. But it is a really refreshing game. If anybody listening hasn't played it, what's wrong with you?
I have a thesis. Oh my gosh! Seriously, no, true story. True story. I am in my Web 2 class, and I'm going over the fundamentals of WordPress with my class. And one of my students looks at me and he's like, "How long are we going to be teaching today? I mean, how long are you going to be lecturing today?"
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I'm like. And he looks at me. He's like, "I'm gonna be dead serious. I want to go home and play Fallout 4. If tonight could be short, that'd be awesome."
Oh my god. That reminds me of Trent Reznor when Halo 2 came out. Like he took he took like 2 weeks off from recording with Teeth to play Halo 2. And when somebody asked him about it, he's like, there are more important things than working sometimes. Bethesda is great because in Fallout especially, I don't. They may do the same thing in Elder Scrolls. I'm not much of an Elder Scrolls player. There's only so many triple-digit hour-long games that I can play at once. But they like trolling people, and apparently last Tuesday they came out with they published a doctor's note written by a legit doctor to get out of work so you can basically sit at home and play Fallout 4 all day Tuesday. And it was fantastic. I wonder if anyone actually like seriously tried to do it. Came in, like give him a note and be like, I've got to play. And it straight up says in the note, like, I'm going to stay at home and play Fallout. Like, I wonder how many people seriously attempted that. That would be amazing.
Doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it one bit.
I would not doubt it at all. But it's a fantastic game, and I love it because, you know, I'm a dork. I like Iron Man, but I love it because of the power armor. I love it because it's refreshing, and they had to reinvent it basically for Fallout 4 because in Fallout 3 and 2 and 1 basically you get it late in the game and it's just like an item you wear, like another piece of armor. And it's like an event in Fallout 4. Like, you put on the armor, you can jump off buildings, you got a minigun. Like, every mission I've played so far where I'm wearing the power armor, I just turn the music down and then put on the Terminator soundtrack because you're like this unstoppable force. Like, you jump off a building and people react and run from you. I kick open a door to one of these bars and some raider goes, holy shit, he's wearing power armor. It's fantastic. It's the first game that really has, and Kotaku has said as much, it's the first game that really kind of hammers home the fact that people who wear power armors are this legendary mythological force to be reckoned with. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
and you can also customize it too. It's great. Usually you just get whatever they give you.
yeah. I watched some of it on Twitch, and I didn't see the actual player using the power armor. He didn't have it yet, I assume. I don't know about it. I've never played it. I've never played any of it. But to me, it looks really good. It looks like it'd be an enjoyable game. Like it was made really well.
Yeah, and being Bethesda, it looks gorgeous, but there are always some quirks. The facial animations, especially, are kind of awful. But that's kind of one of Bethesda's trademarks, for better or for worse, is their facial animation really blows. But I'm hoping by Fallout 5 they'll realize that, and they did a lot with this. But I'm hoping by Fallout 5 they'll realize that the same engine they've been using for like 8 or 9 years isn't going to support PlayStation 4 next gen too long.
Well, maybe they'll just update, do a good update for this one.
Yeah, and these guys are using, they're using Scaleform. I think they're using Quake. They're using all the modern technologies, and it shows. The lighting effects, the particle effects are gorgeous. I hope there's snowfall at some point. There's nuclear sandstorms in forests with the light shining through. It's a gorgeous game. And it kills me because some people are hating on it because of the graphics, and I can't figure out why. I don't know if they're playing it on like a shitty PC or whatever, but on PlayStation 4 it's absolutely gorgeous, and I've heard as much from Xbox One fans too. So hopefully everybody and then some people on PC are like overclocking it. There was some dude on Twitter who said he got to run at 94 frames a second, which is absolutely insane for anything, and I just love it. People have already released some mods. Perverts have already released some naked mods, but that's not. But each his own. But people are already actively modding this thing like they always do. It's just the community is out in full force in this game, and it's a glorious thing.
I was gonna say, if it's anything like the Sims franchise, the naked mods are usually the first mods to come out.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody got in trouble with MLB because they modded. It's Boston, right? You're in post-apocalyptic Boston. Somebody modded the costumes to where you look like what's his face, Oritz from the Boston Red Sox, running around with a baseball bat and attacking Raiders. Apparently he has gotten a little angry about that. He might have gotten jokingly angry. I didn't read the article, but I think it's funny that somebody modded it before that. It's like, you know what? We're in Boston. I'm a Red Sox fan. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
But it is fantastic because it's rare that you hear about a gaming community that's just, tinkering with it as much. And I know Elder Scrolls and a few of the other big communities have some modders like that. Half-Life, oh my God, Half-Life has gotten modded so many times. It's a rare class of game when people are trying to make it better or weirder or just do something with it.
Well, yeah, there's always going to be somebody out there, doing something with a game, a new game, or
Hmm.
anything to make it more entertaining for themselves.
Oh, to be sure, exactly.
Yeah,
And I mean it's great. It's great when it comes out. A lot of spin-off games have come out of people tinkering with existing games. It's fantastic.
yeah,
Um, a few of the ones they're even for sale. I believe a couple of zombie type games have come out that were mods of other games, mods of Left 4 Dead, and that's great. I'm watching the I'm watching the announcement trailer. I didn't realize that Bethesda actually had a trailer that was showing the new power armor. But it's great. It's more like a vehicle. It opens up and kind of encloses around you like an Iron Man suit, and it's fantastic. You have to load in nuclear cores. If you jump out of it and walk away, raiders can come up and steal your crap, and then you got to hunt it down.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's great. But what's not great is apparently there is an intense collector market for certain things. Anybody who's played who's played Fallout knows that there's a specific item you get in the game called Nuka-Cola, which is a health item. It's a joke product that Bethesda made. It's making fun of the fact that the culture of Fallout, pardon me, I'm still getting over that menthol thing I ate, is everyone's obsessed with nuclear power because it powers everything in the game. So they made Nuka-Cola, which apparently replaced Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is nowhere to be found in the game. Probably again due to licensing, but still. Anyway, Fallout 4 takes it a step further. Instead of having the actual Coke bottle shape, the bottles are rocket shaped, which I have not seen in the wild yet, but I really want to. But Bethesda partnered with Target and Jones Soda to make Nuka-Cola Quantum, which is a sub-brand of it in the game. Really rare, really hard to find. And true to form, Jones Soda came out, and it's really nothing special in a lot of ways. It's kind of disappointing. It's their blue lemonade flavor soda with a Fallout-themed label on it. But apparently, true to the rarity of the game, they decided, like, hey, this is going to be limited edition. Once we sell out, you're not going to be able to get any more. I think it boiled down to every store had like 12, like 2 6-packs worth at most. But people, of course, they didn't announce the amounts beforehand. But people are like, oh my gosh, we're going to go up here and get this. And apparently, Target employees realizing that everyone is going to come in and get it, up and bought. And a lot of the stores up and bought up all the stock, so people who came in right when the store opened didn't get anything, which is tragic.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, I would be so mad.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah.
and people are. There is a massive Reddit riot. There's a massive Twitter riot, all about like, hey, these people are buying it. Like some people, like some of the employees actually offered to like sell them a bottle in the store for like 4 times the price. Some people have said like, oh, well, I haven't got it, but if you come around to my car, I'll sell you a bottle for $20. And people are selling them for $50, $150. People are selling 6-packs for $700 on eBay, and people are actually paying that price for it.
You
And
know,
hmm?
you know what the regular price is at Target
It
for 'em?
retailed for $2.99, so it's about $1 higher than standard Jones Soda.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, people are
Oh,
selling it. And,
wow, okay.
I mean, hell, that's making your money back
Yeah,
on eBay, but I think it's the principle of it. As we talk about collectibles, and obviously with collectibles there is this nature of there's going to be somebody who's going to buy this and eventually sell it. But it seems like 2015 with Amiibos, with Nuka-Cola Quantum, with a whole bunch of stuff, has reached kind of a fever pitch of people scalping items. Let's buy 20 of these and sell them on eBay for like 17 times the price, and someone's going to buy it. And it's reached a fever pitch, and it honestly doesn't feel like. And of course, Nuka-Cola Quantum. After I saw what it was, I wasn't as excited because I did get some prop replica bottles of Nuka-Cola and Quantum at DragonCon, so I wasn't as excited about actually getting it as certain people were because I already had one. But the whole scalping community doesn't make things fun anymore, and it's weird because what can you do about it?
yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, people are just gonna go
like a crazy old man for reals.
Yeah, really. You know, I mean, it makes me want to get up and go to the nearest Target right now and go look for this stuff.
Mhm.
You know, and I'm surprised that Target doesn't have rules for their employees.
Well, they do. That was the thing. But it's but as with most chain stores, it's really up to the managers and the supervisors
To enforce
to
it.
to enforce those rules. Yeah, there may be one store that's like, no, you're not touching this before the customers do. But every other store around them is like, oh yeah, you can buy these. And Target may have, because apparently this was a really systemic thing. Like almost every single person talking about Target had an experience, in various states and various everything. Target may not have taken it as serious as they should have. They may have just, kind of like we were talking before we started the broadcast. If I hear that there's a limited edition soda, I think about it like Sam Adams or a new flavor of Mountain Dew or something. I don't think like I've got to go raid the store and buy up all the winter lager before it comes out because someone's going to buy it all. And Target may have been like, oh, it's soda. What's going to happen?
Yeah, that's true.
And then Jones is like, no, really, what was Jones? I'm going to look this up right now because Jones actually had a very explicit statement that said, like, yeah, this was supposed to be a really collectible thing, and apparently Target screwed up. in kinder words, of course.
Yeah, really.
But it's interesting. You would think if they would make it more collectible than just changing the label if they were going to make it that rare. You reckon?
Right, right. If you don't mind, may I share an experience I had with another collectible?
Yeah.
It's I don't want to I guess you could say downgrade employees and stuff, but there are employees that can be how can I put it? Like I don't know. I guess they can get upset because customers are getting items or collectibles before them or something. I don't know. I had a bad experience back when.
Like if they're working and the supervisor says like, well, you can't buy this until your shift is over. Let's say.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of situation.
Or something goes on layaway that they want, and they get upset and they leave their mark on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which is an experience I had back when Attack of the Clones came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say the store because I don't want to take any chances.
Well,
but
there's only so many that have layaway, or they had layaway. So
yeah,
we'll just leave that alone.
Yeah, and but back when Attack of the Clones came out, I don't know if you remember the R2D2 that came out at that time. It was about 3 feet tall.
Oh yeah, was it the robotic type one or?
Yeah, you can have.
Frankly, there was a lot of R2D2 crap.
Well, this one was about maybe 2.5 feet, 3 feet tall.
Okay.
It would move around on its own.
Yeah. Kind of like the precursor to that Sphero BB-8 they have now.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Well, I came across it. I was like, oh, I heard this there, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta get it. But I put it on layaway, so I did. Right there and then, I put it on layaway. Well, when I went to get it, I mean, this was almost in pristine shape. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It talked to me is what happened, and and man, and when I finally took it out, boy, yeah, an upset employee left their mark on the box.
Really? Did they write like something offensive, or was it like vandalized? Like
it was more vandalized. They punched a hole on the top of it.
Oh man.
And so you could see like their knuckle marks on the top. And
like literally punched a hole in it.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, really? This employee is really gonna get upset. So there's those things you gotta watch out for too. If they're not gonna have it their way, then nobody else can have it that way neither.
Yeah. That's stupid.
Yeah.
That's so dumb. It's like I can't even there's not really a justification for that. Like if somebody gets it and you don't, I mean,
Yeah, let them enjoy it.
And most stores are okay with that. I don't know. If it's something like really cool, I mean, and just like the BB-8 thing, just like there's a lot of stuff people will sell. Of course, there's Uber collectible stuff. Like I got the Pip-Boy edition Fallout bundle.
Yeah.
It's not collectibles. I instantaneously took it apart. Like the capsule case is holding snacks in my office now. But anyway, um, but those things instantaneously sold out. And Bethesda, to its credit, kept upping the production to the extent up to including their factory going like, hey, we can't keep making these, keep increasing production for you, and still meet our deadlines for everyone else. So of course they were like, you got to put a cap on this, which Bethesda did. But it's weird. But unless it's something like that, like the BB-8 Sphero robots, like the first wave sold out pretty damn quickly when I was in Atlanta, and then everyone let them loose on the hotel floors, which was a real mess until security told them to cut that crap out.
No.
But it's obviously, since there are these tiny robots rolling around, it poses a kind of a tripping hazard for for people in costumes, and then someone's gonna squash their $300 robot, and people are gonna get mad. And just understandably, Dragon Con security is like, you gotta not do that. But what was I saying? Oh, those things will eventually come back. It's not like Sphero is like, well, we're only gonna make 10,000, say, and then we're never gonna make them again.
Thank
And
goodness.
yeah, and probably yeah, I do too. And it's one of those things. Just like that R2D2, it probably wasn't like a limited edition thing. Like it was probably limited when it came out. But I mean, that stuff's eventually going to be on the shelf again. Like, calm down and wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think sometimes it's that cool factor. They're like, well, if I went on the first run, then I'm not a true fan or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really. Yeah. I remember it was hard to find when it first came out. I don't know if you can actually really find it now, but I know they came out with a brand new R2D2 for The Force Awakens, and it has a radio control that you can use with it. I saw it at.
Are we talking about the R2D2 drink fridge? Have you guys seen that?
Are you talking about the Target exclusive R2D2 RC?
No, this was. I believe I saw this one at Toys R Us.
Hmm.
Did they only come out with?
Well, I know Target had the. Target is like the king of store exclusives. I swear. Really, I mean, Fallout is just yet another one in a long line where it's like we're the only ones that are going to have it.
Oh wow!
Which to their credit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain I saw this at Toys R Us. I believe Toys R Us had a lot more stuff than what Target did. Well, at least here on this in the West Coast,
Yeah.
But yeah, it had a little radio control for it and stuff. It looked really neat. I don't remember how much it costed. But yeah, I wanted to jump on that too, but I couldn't.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Yeah, there's so many things that I want to grab, but my paycheck unfortunately cannot support it.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah, but yeah, the scalper thing is driving me nuts. And then there were people. You guys, of course, are probably aware that Nintendo has amiibos. You guys have probably seen those all over the damn place.
Oh yeah.
There's apparently a group of people who are hate buying all the amiibos. They don't like a dude who took out a $3,000 loan because he hated Rosalina so much as a character. He took out like $3,000 from the bank, and then went and bought like a shit ton of them. Basically, bought every single one he could find at a store, and just hate buying them. Like he tweeted this big floor full of Rosalina amiibos, and that doesn't do anything because I don't understand hate buying. It's like the whole Starbucks cup thing. If you buy up a bunch of stuff in protest, some accountant is looking at the bottom of that. They're like, you know what, we should make some more.
That's what J.K. Rowling used to always say when people were burning her books,
Yeah.
she was like, well, they had to buy the book before they burnt it,
They're
so...
stealing it from libraries. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's just like it's just like anything else. If you don't like it, don't buy it.
Yeah.
Vote with your dollars only works if you don't buy it.
Why put yourself in debt if it's not going to be worth it later on in life? You know?
Yeah, and he's tweeting, and this guy is a douchebag anyway. I was reading his tweets earlier, and he's like, oh, it's a success. Nintendo will never sell this again, and it's just like, no, Nintendo's laughing all the way to the bank, dude.
And they see the shelf empty, they're going to order more.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really interesting when that happens too, because it's rare that that happens with like a collectible item. Like sometimes people will do that, of course, when like Harry Potter comes out, which is interesting because you never hear about that kind of reaction with like the Harry Dresden books. But I guess it's the intended target audience because people do kind of associate Rowling with kids' books.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever looked at the Galbraith book she writes, that pseudonym she has? Like the same person who writes Harry Potter also writes about like detectives getting severed legs in the mail.
Yeah,
It's
Robert
a fantastic book. Yeah, Robert Galbraith. That's a fantastic sub-series.
Love them.
Love them. I've got to one of these days when NaNoWriMo finally ends, I'll finally finish reading Career of Evil. Fantastic book series, yeah. Yeah, when the semester and everything else in life ends, then I can do something else with my life. That's
Exactly.
But
I'm not much of a book person, so
yeah, it's really an acquired taste. I went through a long stretch. I think from college. I think for about 4 years into and after college, where I didn't read anything at all, and now I read a lot, but I still don't read as much as I did in like high school.
Yes.
At all, because of course we've got responsibilities nowadays. We can't just sit there and read a book all day. But
right,
if only.
If only.
But some book series are really good. Gary Whitta just wrote a book I read called Abomination, which is about well, it's not really. It's basically Kingdom of Heaven meets The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. It's fantastic. But more to the point, Gary Whitta is the guy who wrote like Book of Eli, and he also wrote Star Wars Rogue One, which is coming out next year. So he's just a fantastic guy. And just like Stephen King, I haven't stayed up all night to read anything. How am I saying this? I'm typing something for my proposal and talking at the same time. It's one of the few times I've stayed up all night to read something, and that's a rare breed for me.
I just watched The Thing the other night too.
If you like The Thing, imagine somebody discovers magic during the Crusade era. Somebody discovers magic and basically figures out how to basically mutate people into the Thing monsters.
Right.
At will, so they raise an army of abominations, hence the title, and then they release them. So they have an order of knights whose job it is to like hunt them down, and that's all I'm going to say about spoiling the whole thing, because it's a really short book. It's really good, but the whole premise of things, there's so much weight in it, and it's great. And it's not an especially long book, but usually I'll read something and I'll be like, okay, I can pick this up tomorrow morning. I started reading by the end of the first chapter. I'm like, oh no, this has got to put everything on hold. We gotta finish reading this. It's a rare thing, but it's fantastic when it happens.
Yeah, I had just bought the DVD. It was a 4-movie DVD. It had John Carpenter's The Thing and John Carpenter's They Live. Remember They Live?
Yeah. As long as we're not talking about Prince of Darkness, I'm okay with anything John Carpenter makes. Prince of Darkness was just awful.
I've heard of that movie. I might have seen it.
It's when shit starts falling apart for John Carpenter's career. It was in the 90s. when did that movie come out? It was like '94 or something. I just can't get over it. There's a scene where somebody receives it's a dream and somebody receives a transmission from the year 1999, and I'm like, dude, they're in the '90s. You can just say 1999.
Oh, you've talked about that before.
I have talked about that before. Yeah,
Yeah.
it still bothers me.
Yeah, I might have seen that. I don't know.
Everybody's seen it. It's just, and I don't even mind the way it was written. I think the special effects are just awful. You cannot make me love this movie. But you know, it can be worse. But yeah, Gary Whitta, he wrote Rogue One, and if Abomination is any indication, I think Rogue One is in good hands. And between him and Gareth Edwards directing, I don't think you could ask for a better combination of people to really kick off the Star Wars anthology movies, and it's fantastic. Speaking of Star Wars, because you knew that was coming. Have you guys heard of? We keep talking about crazy fan theories. Have you heard the new one? Which new one, right? No. Have you heard the one about Jar Jar Binks being a Sith Lord?
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You sound so like reluctant, Marcus. You're like, yeah, I've heard that. Because that's actually my reaction to it too. It's like, why?
I don't know the whole story about it, but I did hear or read a little snippet of it.
Yeah, it started as like a massive Reddit thread where somebody took like gifs of Jar Jar Binks doing Jar Jar Binks type stuff, and he was like, well, let's accept that, you know, Jar Jar Binks is incredibly talented master of martial arts or whatever, and he shows these gifs of like a Taiwanese guy in a dojo versus doing moves like Jar Jar Binks is. He's like, well, here's Jar Jar Binks preparing to do a force jump, blah blah blah, and he keeps expanding it like crazy out of context. He's like, well, here's Jar Jar Binks force Jedi mind tricking the entire Senate into voting, you know, Palpatine into being Emperor, and it's this long drawn out like Illuminati level conspiracy theory, up to and including the fact that like Jar Jar Binks' skin is like secret Sith tattoos, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on, and with the ultimate result being that Jar Jar Binks was a secret Sith Lord who instituted Palpatine's rise to power, up to and including that Binks may in fact be Darth Plagueis. And depending on how crazy you want to get with it, there are some people saying that this means that Kylo Ren is Jar Jar Binks. I shit you not.
Oh my god, no.
I know, right?
That's
my exact reaction to that.
Yeah, it sounds like a Jar Jar Binks fan that's tired of hearing people just
complain about it.
Complaining about Binks and just knocking Binks down to the ground into his grave, you know, and just trying to make Jar Jar Binks look good, you know.
Just trying to make Jar Jar Binks look good. The one Jar Jar Binks fanboy.
No, wow. I need to make.
I know. I was reading this thread over lunch on Friday, and I was like trying to wrap my head around it. It's just like, wow, I've got to applaud the thoroughness of your theory, sir, but that's stupid. That's the dumbest thing. It's like right up there with saying that, like, I don't know, let's create crazy fan theories, shall we? I think that Finn is really the failed clone of Luke Skywalker. I don't know. That probably has as much validity as the Jar Jar Binks theory, children. He's not Luke Skywalker. He's Finn. Oh. Speaking of crazy theories, someone else. And I don't know why it bothers me so much that people are assuming that either Rey or Kylo Ren or both are the Solo children / Solo twins. Oh, actually, I think I do. I think I hate it because people talk about that. I noticed this on Facebook, and it got under my skin right when they showed the character posters for Force Awakens,
Mhm.
was people like started talking. They had this other photo of the new trailer, which is where I'm tapping out to keep 2/3 of the movie fresh, where Han Solo hands Rey a gun. In that new trailer, he's like, "You're gonna need this." Um, which, by the way, a lot of people thought was a lightsaber, which whatever, to each his own. Um, but people talk about Rey and Kylo Ren in a sentimental family value kind of way, and it's really weird. Like there was some commenter when it showed the character portraits, it showed Rey, Han Solo, Kylo Ren, Finn, all together, and somebody's like, "Oh, it's our first family portrait for Episode 7," and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And then when somebody else was talking about, which they screenshotted Han Solo and Rey, and Han Solo was giving giving her the gun, him, her, same thing. Um, Somebody was like, "It's probably Dad's first pistol, giving it to his daughter." A proper. He's like, "It's a Solo family outing," and I'm like, "Please stop with your creepy family moment analysis of these screenshots, because it's getting weird. It's getting real weird."
Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot of speculation going on of this and that, and who's this person and who's that person.
It's getting weird.
Yeah, it's getting weirder by the day,
It
and
really is.
time gets closer, well, it's going to get more weirder,
Yeah, yeah, and I wonder what the logical conclusion of that is. I don't think I want to know. But it's I don't know. I don't know. On one hand, I don't mind being right. I mean, I don't mind being wrong, saying like, "Hey, let's wait, whatever." I don't mind being wrong, but on the other hand, Lucasfilm and Disney haven't beheld anything else to the expanded universe, so why feel like they're beholden to the most predictable one, which is that the Solo twins are here and it's really Darth Caddus instead of Kylo Ren, Caddus, whatever. I'm not getting paid to talk right now, apparently. But it's low hanging fruit from the expanded universe, and I can understand and appreciate them using it, but by the same token, you have Mara Jade isn't here, like nothing else from the
Yeah.
expanded universe is stuck, so why do that?
Well, I would be really sad if they get the Solo twins in there, but then there's no Mara. I mean,
Mhm.
because arguably Mara is the best thing that ever happened in the EU, just as far as her storyline and her dynamics and love. Even if she didn't marry Luke, Mara was a great character.
What if Abrams pulls a Star Trek and it's like you see Mara Jade and everybody find the Yuzon Vong, and then it's some like time warp, and then oh man, can you imagine the vitriol Abrams would get from that? I mean, not that he's not getting any already, but if he like did a time warp thing like Star Trek, it would be like, yes, we acknowledge the existence of the expanded universe, but we're still gonna poop all over it.
I think
That would be the worst.
a time warp would kill it. All
Oh,
this, everything.
Oh, in such a way, yes.
Yeah, it would kill it. I mean, it would just everybody, all the fans, everybody would just be like, "What the hell? What is it, Star Trek or what?"
That would legitimately make it worse than any Hayden Christensen moment. It really would, because then it would be, I don't know. I don't know. It made sense for Star Trek. It makes sense for X-Men. It doesn't make sense for Star Wars. There has never been a time travel scenario in any situation in Star Wars.
right.
Yeah.
If this becomes a fan theory on Reddit, I solely take credit for this. You can send me tips or tips of the horse races, whatever. I will take my fan theory royalties, damn it. But oh my god. Speaking of, have you guys seen? Speaking of Star Wars, because obviously we're going to talk about this. Have you guys seen Star Wars Rebels? Anybody?
Not recently. I haven't seen.
Oh, it's great.
Is it really?
Yes. You.
so bad. Oh.
But the third episode, the second episode gets into the not to spoil anything too bad, but you run into Captain Rex and his crew again from the Clone Wars TV series, and they're kind of living out in the middle of nowhere, and they're all crazy, and it's fantastic. But the episode right after that, they go to a Clone Wars medical facility that was also in the series, and they run into more Inquisitors. So it's really supporting the idea that Inquisitors are the new Emperor's hands, which I'm perfectly fine with. And I want to see more. I want to see more. Sarah Michelle Gellar, she has a there's a Spanish Inquisitor too, which is weird. He sounds very Antonio Banderas, which is great. His voice. He's a the design of him is pretty cool too because it's based off of a scrapped design for Supreme Leader Snoke from Episode 7. You know, Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis. Yeah, based off of that, which interestingly is actually one of the only characters you haven't seen yet. So I'm kind of wondering if that's going to be like the Emperor in the original trilogy, just kind of boil over. I'm okay with that, but it lends credence because they're called like the male one is called the Fifth Brother, I think, and then Sarah Michelle Gellar's Inquisitor with her pinchy torture droids are called it's called the Seventh Sister. I keep calling them pinchy torture droids because there are these tiny droids that can imitate people, but every time they start to do something evil, they pinch their torture pinchers together real excitedly. It's like, yes, I'm going to torture you now. I'm so excited about this. Why aren't you? It's fantastic. Not torture, but just the way the robots react are fantastic. There's a scene where she's doing force powers, and one of them crawls up on her arm, and it's like raising its claw out, like it's trying to do force with her too. And it's just like shit like that. I love when animators do it because it gives quirky little characteristics to like evil shit, and I love it.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is. I just love. I love when they add personalities and things that you wouldn't expect them to. And Star Wars, of course. If a droid doesn't have a personality in Star Wars, you just failed at your like job description, right? But it's interesting because they all have the same lightsabers. They're these like trick lightsabers. They're double bladed. They spin like a buzzsaw to give them an advantage over Jedi. But every Inquisitor, there's been 3 so far. Every Inquisitor has the same outfit, has the same lightsaber. So it's like more of a standard issue Force adept role, which I think is essentially what the Emperor's hands are, except they build their own lightsabers. But I'm kind of excited about that. It's not obviously we're not gonna get to Mara Jade like that. Obviously they're a new take on something. They're not beholden to anything from the expanded universe. But at the same time, I like that they kind of poke at it. They're like if you're if you're one of the Legacy fans, you know what we're getting at here. But we're not explicitly going to say anything that would lead you to believe that. And it's great. It's fantastic. It kind of to me carries over the same flavor of Abrams kind of poking fun at things, poking references at things. It's like you're in on the joke too. And if you're new to this, you're not gonna miss anything. You know what I mean? And it's fantastic.
Yeah. And you mentioned Andy Serkis. Did you see the article about his character finally revealed?
No, I didn't. Did they have a photo or anything?
They had a concept art drawing of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I think that concept art, because I remember IO9 from Gawker showing a photo of showing a photo of Snoke, but they said it was what they based the new Fifth Brother off of on Rebels. So I don't know if that's the final art or not. It may also totally not be the same one that I saw.
Probably.
Yeah, but if it's the one I'm thinking about, he's kind of like creepy. He's got like the head and the eyes, and he's obviously not human, but he might be like an old school Sith, like from the Sith species, if that's still a thing in the cinematic universe. Yeah. So it makes you wonder.
Yeah, it does. It does make you wonder.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a lot taller than a average man.
Yeah, because he's like 7 feet tall or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I think I may have seen the right thing because in the that's old school when they had the Old Republic comic book series. Exar Kun or Kun, I never knew how to pronounce his name. One of the original Sith Lords per se. Who was a betrayed Jedi, blah blah blah. Anyway, he gets trained by a lot of people, but he gets trained by some of the original like the Sith were a species in the comics, And the concept art I saw of Snoke kind of looks, again, it's kind of poking at, if you stuck with us for the past 2 decades, you know where we're coming from, but you may not, you don't have to be in the know to appreciate where we're coming from. I like it. I love it. It's and of course there's going to be people who are going to be so pissed if they don't explicitly say, like, yes, it's a breed later Snoke. He's a Sith Lord. He's a Sith, don't you know? But it shouldn't kill your enjoyment of the story. And I think I'm so afraid that a lot of people, because I know my mother is probably going to be one of those people who, if you, she's very intent on the new movies still being about the old characters, and I think she's going to walk away really disappointed because she has spent decades reading the expanded universe books, and of course it's the continuing adventures of everybody. And I think she, in a lot of ways, and a lot of people in a lot of ways, are going to be really disappointed because I don't think the new ones are so much about the originals. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think J.J. Abrams has said on multiple occasions that this is not a nostalgia film. This is not something that is banking on, well, like some of the remakes that have been going on lately with the 80s movies. They're banking on the fact that people had seen the movie before.
Yeah.
So
there's no jumping the shark.
Yeah.
I guess in a lot of ways you could look at this as, do we do it in a way that's like Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, ignoring the plot, but the fact that it's a sequel in the same universe, or do we look at it, and handle it as its own story, or do they approach it like Jurassic World, where it's its own story, but they're elbowing you the whole way, being like, you remember when you saw this the first time in '92?
Yeah, I heard about that.
And not that Jurassic Park is terrible, but you obviously, and I watched Jurassic Park like the day before I went and saw World, and you can tell where Colin Trevorrow is like nudging you the whole time through. He's like, remember this? Remember this? I think the only shot they didn't recreate was was that straight on shot when they went through the gates, and I was fully waiting for it. I was like, this would be a perfect 3D shot. They never did it. I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
But what can you do, right?
Didn't they say something early on that this Star Wars movie wasn't going to be based on the EU?
Yeah, they said, and this was like back before they even had a story. They like in the same breath they were talking about Lucas selling LucasArts to Disney. They came out and were like, we're going to make new movies, but the expanded universe, we're stuffing it full of dynamite and blowing it up basically. And that was about it. They just like summarily executed the expanded universe, much to the chagrin of a lot of old-time fans. But they needed to. They really needed to, because if you, this is a point I've been making on Reddit till my face is blue, but if they say, the obvious inspiration for any trilogy based on the expanded universe, the one that would make the most sense to anybody, is going to be Timothy Zahn. Let's get that out of the way. The one that most everybody recognizes is going to be Thrawn. Going to be the Thrawn trilogy, for better or for worse. But if they were going to do that, this is set, 5 years. What is? And keep me honest here, Jesse. It's set what is it? Between 5 and 8 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I want to say. So they would need to basically recast everybody, and then that would cause a riot because, they're gonna have to recast people, and oh my God, these aren't the original cast, and then you have a whole other bucket of worms. So,
and, yeah, it was a 9 ABY.
Okay, so yeah,
9 years after.
Yeah, and obviously there's no way the original cast could be that young.
5 years after Jedi, yeah.
Extensive moisturization. Yeah, there's no way the original cast could be the original human cast could be, involved in like the Thrawn trilogy if they made it, because there's no way you're ever going to, unless you do the weird like Tron Legacy thing where you like film them and then reverse age them, but that never looks convincing. You know what I mean? So they made a wise choice, and there again, there's a whole bunch of storytelling reasons. You know, if you already know the story, and then it's like books versus movies. If you know the story going in, it's not going to be as exciting as if you come in clean.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. So if having a new story opens up a lot of possibilities. It lets them work with the current the original cast, and it keeps things exciting. But unfortunately, a lot of people just aren't putting up with it.
Well, and also you get they did do the not only with all those issues there, but you would have something you never had in a Star Wars movie before, which is people knowing what should happen. Like, this was my biggest problem watching the Harry Potter movies, was it was very hard for me to watch the movie and not think about all the stuff they left out.
Yeah, and that
never happened in a Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing to leave out, because it's a story that's being told for that medium, obviously. Yep. And arguably, you could say they left some things out in the prequels because they did get it better with the Clone Wars and everything, but they didn't. It wasn't like they took a book and were like, well, we're going to cut this scene out because we just can't fit it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation. But it makes sense, and just a lot of people don't think about it that way, which is tragic. Really tragic. Listening for my dog, she's barking. Yeah, and just people are looking for ways to hate to hate anything, and a lot of people look for ways. A lot of people don't like the new Star Trek movies, and a lot of people, because of that, think that J.J. Abrams somehow screwed them up, or screwed up Star Trek, and he's going to do the same thing Star Wars. But J.J. Abrams did exactly the same thing. He realized that there wasn't a real way to be beholden to all these movies and all this history without isolating the key audience, and so he made it his own thing. Now, whether diehard fans accept that or not isn't really his problem, but I liked Abrams' 2 Star Trek movies. I'm probably gonna like Simon Pegg's 3rd one, and I've never enjoyed Star Trek as a show. I know that's blasphemy for some people. I've never enjoyed it. I just don't like it. But somehow Abrams turned it around, and he's like, well, you don't like it, you should try it. Just try this. Just try my flavor. And I don't know. It's a guy who's obviously making these movies with a lot of passion and a lot of love, and just massive kudos to it. I can't. There's a lot of people already calling him Jar Jar Abrams on Facebook and Reddit, because they're waiting to get disappointed, and I think those kind of people are you could give them gold bars as they walk into the movie theater and they would still hate it. There's some people you can't please.
Oh wow, that's funny. I liked the newer Star Trek movies. I didn't think they weren't too bad at all. Especially the recent one, Into the Dark.
Mm-hmm. And that's the one a lot of people have issues about, because it is essentially a retread of what is it, Wrath of Khan?
Yeah.
And a lot of people hated it because they were like, well, J.J. Abrams should have said it was Khan to begin with. But if you watch the movie, it's a hat trick, basically. You think Benedict Cumberbatch I'm bad with names today, is one person. It turns out he's not that person at all. And so just saying it's Khan, just coming out and being like, oh yeah, that's who it is. Just coming out and doing that wouldn't have done the story that he was trying to tell any justice.
Yeah, and also
people don't realize that.
Also, too, this is an era of remakes, and that's pretty much the remake of the Wrath of Khan.
Basically, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was just this time it was Spock yelling out Khan and not Captain Kirk.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it obviously had a lot of moments that harken back to the original movies. Um, which of course, I mean, coming from, and of course, the fans are going to figure it out. The diehard Star Trek fans are going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out, and that was actually Abrams, I think, being a massive fanboy and being like, "Hey, remember this moment? Well, here it is. You know, basically modernized for viewing pleasure." And of course, they weren't going to have it.
Yeah, yeah. When I started seeing the trailers for it, I was like, well, yeah, I can see that being Khan, strength wise and like that. I mean, he jumped down with some big beam or something. I can't remember
Well,
exactly.
yeah, you see the leaked filming footage where he's getting nerve pinched by Spock, and he just stands up like it's nothing.
Yeah,
It was obvious to the initiated basically that it was Khan,
right.
and and a lot of people have come out and been like, well, he should have just said it was Khan. Well, if it makes you happy, yes, he should have, but would that have done any service to the movie to basically spoil it or confuse new fans? Like
Right.
of course I've gotten schooled by my Trekkie type friends. I've gotten schooled on who Khan is, but if Abrams had been like, yes, he's Khan, I would have been like, who? Why
Uh-huh.
should I care? Who?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You would have had fans saying, "Oh, Khan again," and
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's that kind of fan with the kind of mentality that you really can't please. Um, Unfortunately, try as you might, you're never going to make those people happy.
exactly. And plus you're gonna destroy the mystery of the movie.
Yeah,
Whatever suspense is, like, oh, who is that really?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But what can you do? It's lost my train of thought. I'm like, because I was reading a response to Academy of Art. In case you guys haven't noticed, we're a lot of us are guilty of doing work while we're on the in front of the microphone. Because I know I am crazy guilty about that. Um, but Star Wars Battlefront comes out next Tuesday, and I am massively excited for it.
I'm so
Um,
excited to
I am wary. I am so wary of Electronic Arts screwing it up. So it's on GameFly, and hopefully I'll get it next week, and hopefully I'll play it. Hopefully.
I can't wait to see people play it. I'm gonna Twitch the heck out
You're
of
gonna
that.
Twitch it.
Yep, because then I can
Speaking
work.
of,
I am.
hopefully eventually I'll have a Twitch channel running.
I
My
will
my two guys flaked.
watch you guys play.
Yes. And it looks gorgeous. It really does. But EA had to be EA, and of course they want basically double the price at minimum to get you everything. So I don't know. I kind of figured they would be, and then they were like, "Yeah, we're not going to do it." Oh wait, yeah, we are. And the terrible thing with EA is they are the exclusive LucasArts, or yeah, LucasArts. Is that still a thing, LucasArts? Um, they are the exclusive LucasArts publisher, more or less. So, like it or not, if you like EA or not, you're stuck with it. For better or for worse. Mostly for worse.
I'm hoping better. I'm hoping, even if the gameplay is as good as some of the bloopers that have come out,
Oh, most definitely.
I'm gonna be pretty happy. I mean, just because of the whimsical fact that you can see Vader get blown up by a falling X-wing, or Luke get squashed by an AT-AT. I'm cool with that. All right.
When Mark Hamill tweets about your screw up as Luke Skywalker, you know you've done something kind of epic. Have you seen that?
No.
Like Mark Hamill, I saw this on Mark Hamill's Twitter feed. He's like, "Hey, watch me get squashed by an AT-AT," and that's fantastic. I mean, whoever did that is just great. But just things like that. I mean, it's great, and it's back to, and I think EA has really caught on to this, but they're not trying to make, they're obviously not trying to make a new contribute any real worthwhile thing to the story. because they don't have a first player campaign. But and the ads have really caught on to this. For anybody who's wanted to experience like a moment in the trilogy, be it as a Jedi or as a fighter pilot or doing the Death Star run or whatever, this is a game that's basically made for you. And the ads have really encapsulated that. It shows people daydreaming about being Jedi, and suddenly there's X-wings flying through a city, and it knows their target audience, and basically basically it's Battlefield for the Star Wars community, and that is perfectly fine with me. Battlefront. Did I say Battlefront? Yeah, Battlefront. Battlefield.
Wasn't Anna Kendrick in one of them?
Anna Kendrick was in one of them too, being really random and creepy. She's holding like a chef knife and just looking crazy, and then she disappears into the game. But I mean, why not? I mean, Anna Kendrick is definitely a nerd. Is definitely a nerd type. Like she fits perfectly into the ads and into what they're doing, and it's pretty fantastic.
Oh man.
It's like that. It's like that Lego. It's like that Lego movie. Everything's awesome if you're a Star Wars fan right now.
It is. Everything is awesome if you're a Star Wars fan. I mean,
I'm gonna say that unless actually I'm not. Actually, I don't think there's a way the movies are gonna say, because a lot of people are like, remember the hype you had with Episode 1, and you see what happened there. Well, I don't get that vibe with this one. I don't know.
No.
I could be completely wrong, but I really, really hope not.
I think maybe because everybody's kind of leery after the prequels. And,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Fool us once.
Yeah. I don't know about fooling us twice. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people are justified and kind of feeling wary, but I don't know if that wariness is justified, because the person responsible for that is not necessarily involved with this movie.
Yeah.
There's Lucas is done with Star Wars, done with Indiana Jones, and he's not. I mean, Lucas has not done anything involving this movie. Like, people have asked him, and he's like, I haven't done. I don't know. I'll find out when you do. Like, he's been so hands off with it, and I think I'm not gonna say Star Wars might be better for it, but if I don't know, if it was M. Night Shyamalan directing Episode 7, I would be worried. But it's J.J. Abrams, and he's for everything I've seen, he's done great at what he's done. And then of course there are the ones that are like, oh God, we're never gonna wash the flavor, the bad taste of the prequels of our mouths, no matter how good it is. It's like, get over yourself.
Can you imagine if M. Night Shyamalan directed this? It would be like, is it the Star Wars film since when?
I can imagine it, but I don't want to.
Exactly.
Exactly. I just don't. No.
I had a thought, and I was like, Jesse, you're gonna go to hell for that. No.
Oh, it's one of those thoughts, is it?
It's one of those thoughts.
Oh no.
It was everybody would be ethnically cast, but not in the right race.
But. Oh my gosh.
We'll make all the Japanese.
But some people are trying to get off with complaining that that's the problem with Episode 7 now, but those are also the people who feel nervous that the main character is a black dude.
See, no, it's one thing when you have a character who is obviously an Inuit Indian being played by a white person, and then someone.
Are you talking about Airbender?
I am, and then obviously have someone of Japanese descent being played by an Indian person. That is an issue. That is
an issue, actually. Yeah.
It didn't exist.
I forgot about how badly that movie was cast.
Oh God, so bad.
Tell me how you really feel about it.
No, I never saw it. Was it that bad?
Yes.
God. Okay, if you've seen the show, the only way you could have suffered through that movie and been okay with it is if you had never seen the show, ever. Like, never saw a clip from it, never saw a trailer, nothing. You
If
go
you were
into
uninitiated, it was a fantastic movie.
yeah, but if you have any inclination of what the show was like, you were just incredibly upset. Just it is almost as bad as okay, it was worse than the Aragon movie. That I thought was
Oh, that
bad.
movie had so much potential.
It did. It had Jeremy Irons and John Malkovich, and I was just like, yeah. And then I get in there, and I was like, no.
Quick little
Airbender.
trivia. The Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out, I think, around the same time as Aragon. Tom Baker, of all people. You can tell when you're watching that movie that he knows the movie is going to be shit.
Yeah.
And he just cheeses the hell out of the whole thing. It's fantastic. I wish someone had been that self-aware about Aragon because it was so bad.
It was so bad. I mean, I was just hard. I think when I gave up on the movie, it was towards the beginning where they
That's
Pokemon.
always a bad sign.
Yeah, they Pokemon the Aragon growing up. I'm like, oh look, he evolved. But I was so heartbroken because that was such a. I mean, him growing up with the growing up with the dragon was such an important character building and relationship building, and then you get 2 seconds of it evolving from baby dragon, which was cute. I will give the 3D people that, but it was so sad because there was so bad. Okay, anyway,
Tell me how you really feel about it.
Still
Yeah.
not as bad as the Airbender movie.
Airbender was a really, really, really rare bird, in that you have a perfect built-in audience, and you manage to piss all of them off. Every single one.
Every single one.
Like I wasn't even a massive fan. I was just a casual fan. I left pissed. What the hell? What the hell? What did you do? That being said, Shyamalan does have his moments. I hear that new movie he's doing. What is it, Mama? No, that's a Del Toro thing. What is that new movie he did? Anyway, it's a horror type movie. I've heard it's actually good, which I'm surprised about. Okay with that though.
Yeah.
I like my horror movies. All right.
Here we go. Oh, I am submitted with all my stuff tonight. Speaking of working while you're...
Yes.
I've gotten all of my school objectives, and now I need to grade.
That is actually awesome. Yeah, I need to polish my proposal and then get it sent off, or my resubmission proposal and get it sent off.
Got it.
Yeah, so great talk, everybody. As always, if you like what you hear, do subscribe and keep watching, and we will have more great content coming your way as long as I find some people on Reddit who aren't flakes. And we will catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Bye, everybody.
It's great being here. See you guys later.